We are here for it with the teachings of the universal laws, of the rules and regulations of the ballot. The ballot that's written in formal script, that's carried out in others' instructors. I want Christine to read out the first one in steps, even if there's no reading once she says the word. So let's give Christine to say something here. What's the first one? Murder. So we have the first one here. Situation one. Murder. The shedding of blood. What's the circumstances on those charges? He faced 25 years. Depends. 50 years. So you can spend life sentence. So these phases of charges are in placement for those charges. For those charges underneath the ways of murder. We have situated with murder. We have understanding with murder. There's a topic on murder charges, as I said before. A lot of people in this universe of life has been arrested and charged on those. And they not have any evidence for the case. It's a growth of guilt. But otherwise, as I said before, I will not molest that charges. Let's go through the second one here, please. Assault. We have assault here. So these are the charges of assaulting. You have an assault charge. You can face charge up to jail time, depending on the type of assault. Assault comes in many ways. Bodily harm in many ways. So as I said first, we have an assault issue here. It can happen on a robbery case. It can happen anywhere. But we have different ways of looking at the assault charges. Once this is going to be a recorrecting on your charges. Once a person in their house and a person steps in their house, listen carefully, and the person makes an attempt for your life. I heard you've been taking people and charging them because they defend themselves on their own property. You should not ever do that. Once the person is on his property, you cannot touch that person. You should never ever approach a person on their own property once they never step off their ground. No officers in the universe of life should ever do that. That's not how the growth is. If the person steps off their property, then you may so do so. We have a situation on that. But if there's a charge for the person to step over those lines of boundaries, you may do so. As I said before, once the person does not step off his property, you may not do so. We have one place in there. Robbery. Like what I just saw last night. Two guys walk into the store, robbing the store. I stand up there. Christine is there. And the lady run from around, grab him, force him back inside. The next one said, I might come inside and smash your face in. Come outside, get out of the camera. So they wanted to beat her up. I was right there. As proof, witnesses. So let me show you a difference of levels of life as teachings, as I said before. Robbery on those charges. It's all depends. It's all depends on how the robbery is in placement. You can rob a person and not get charged. But if you rob a person and hurt a person in the process of that, there's no limit to the charges that will come towards you. There's no limit towards the charge that will come towards you. So we have that in placement here. I will give that a balance. Let it stay. One more thing. As I said, these charges are in placement. What do we have here in the next process here, Christine, before I move any further on? With the steps. These are steps. These are phase one of the training, of the teachings I'm giving you. Watch the steps I'm taking you. Okay? These steps are here for you to see. Officers, you've been doing some wrong things out there. You've been going about the wrong ways of doing the right ways of the law that's been given to you. Certain laws that's in placements of the ways of life here is not fulfilled or followed. If you are an officer, you're not supposed to have no ways of life on Facebook to be racist against anyone in justifications of the badge you're wearing. The technology world that we live in, we see officers here in the result of disrespecting the badge you're wearing towards the unifications of the oneness, of the understanding of the universe of life itself, that you have to go and save. So we have a ballot here. You should not be up there on no form of technology life posting anything. Once you post things on your ways of life, thinks you are different. Because you said you're not different. You think you have the power. So the thing, as I said forth, you can be charged for the rest of your life. Because your history still remains the same in the cylinder of the chip, of your memory, of your technology. You do not do these things in life itself and mark the boards out. It has ways out to recorrect it. So, as I said forth, with the teachings, we put things in placement for you. Christine, do you have the next one here, please? We have kidnapping here. We have kidnapping here, guys, gentlemen. Once you kidnap someone, kids, it's life sentence. You shouldn't be. No. In situations is you shouldn't be affected back here in kidnapping what you did not bring forth. The affections of that lifestyle of the heart that you birth in the heavens is your straight path. You should be facing up to 27 years. We have situated where we say we will be having these rules in placement for the universe of life. That's why I'm here. Let's look at the next situations, as I said, kidnapping, raping, in the situations of that. There's no limit towards your levels of understanding what I have for you. We put that in the placement. We have that in placement. Officers, when you go on a kidnap case, do not shoot to kill unless then shoot like that. Take the person in, let him get the ways of life with the justifications. A lot of officers goes on those cases and shoot to kill. I understand the felt of the heart. But you do not have that justification. It's a sin towards nations of liberties, of lifestyles, inside you of justifications underneath your Caesar law. Let's go next to the next step here, please. As we set forth, man, woman in the universe of life, careful on the kidnapping ways of liberties. Even if you kidnap an animal, your animal charges is different because the animal doesn't speak. It could be lost. We do not know. But if you kidnap your own kind, informal nature, there's a charge. But the next levels, as I said, forth would be
molester. A molester.
a molester. Gentlemen, what do we call a molester? What do we have as a molester here? You can call a person walking down the street a molester. No, that's not a molester. You can't call a person walking by and saying hi in the ways of life to the young generation. That's not a molester. A molester is a person who activates himself in formal and approach with touchings and virile ways of speaking. It's situated, as I said for it, my friend. Be careful what you call a molester. A molester is the ones that's lost. The charges on a molester, we're looking at situations. We're looking at situations once you molest somebody. There's no charge there. There's no shedding. There's nothing happened there. If he activated informal, if he activated informal with approachal in the situations of touching, then you may be able to do so. Once you have proof. But there's no proof, you cannot charge a molester. If there's no proof, you cannot charge a molester because the molester you did not have any proof that he did that. Words from mouth doesn't crack the nut there, my friend. You have to have proof that he molested. Do you have the proof? Have you have the witness voice or anything in the situation? These are the situations of charges on molester. A man walks free on the molesting charge because there's no proof there. Do not violate those laws. Lessons. Next one, we have in placement here. As I said, you do not have any proof. You do not go say so. Word of mouth doesn't crack the nut here. The words of liars with the tongues of speaking without the pad. Okay, let's go for the next one here. Rape. My friend, what do you call rape? Okay, a wife and a husband live together. The woman said no. Man takes it. It's his wife. Watch this. Man said no. The woman jumps on top. She takes it. Who is molesting who there? There's no molesting. There's no raping there. Okay. So this is what you see with rape now. If you hold a person down or kidnap the person in the situation and rape him, as I just said forth, that is rape. If you're a girl hanging out and you touched her, and it starts there. Some girls like to say no when they said yes. And I know that for a fact. I know it. In the universe of life, all man in the universe of knowledge in the third eye knows that. I can see right through you. Every single woman. So, the situating, as I said forth, what do you call a rape? If a woman, because a lot of women lies a lot, they lie. Yes, they do. I know a lot will do that in the effect of life to cause issues. Women that cause issues like that because they think they have the advantage on the side of their laws do not know the man who he's trying to set up. So let me tell you something about rape. A rape charge, you have to have full evidence. Where is the charge for that? If a woman come forth and said, "Oh, I did not have this time to get this or that," well, in the placement as that happens in the process, in the placement as that happened in the process, you have a mouth. Yell out for it. Did the person hold your mouth down? No, he did not put his hands over your mouth. So how can that be rape? If you did not yell in the situations of life, it is not rape. You were boiled down to the factors of life that you wanted that in the first place. Why you do that to your brain and play these games with man and woman in the universe of life? You have a voice. If you do not speak, then situated would have to question. If the officers come and said, "Did he put his hands over your mouth?" and you said no. Did he put a weapon around you? And you said no. Did he tie you down? And you said no. Why didn't you cry for rape if it was rape? Who you think you're fooling in your percentage knowledge of growth here? So we have a situation in life, as I said forth. A lot of people in the effect of life is saying these things when they actually make it them ways of happening. Man and woman, when you have a voice to yell, people walk by, people live nearby. If people hear the word rape, seriously, the affections of that will take placement in front of you. So the situating, as I said forth, if there's no weapon allowed in the effect of that to cause the effect, if you're hanging out with a woman, you into her, and she doesn't give you the right to do that. But sometimes women play those games, and I know that for a fact. I've seen it. When you walk away, it's the upset ways of life towards life, because you were supposed to sit down and stay with that girl for a period of time. You should never run out like that after you done do that. A lot of girls are like that, so you have to be careful. So that's a situation that catch a lot of guys. You go in and then you come out, you gone, and then you see what happens because you did that. So, as I said forth, with the teachings and with the blessings, with the understanding, as I said forth, once no weapons is not allowed in a situating life there, you don't hold on and take business. If she can yell for rape, once she has her voice open, because situations of the universe are very close. Unless you live in a country deep down. Don't lie, my friend. Do not do that. Officers, overlook the situations. This is where a judge come in placement and a lawyer come in placement of taking the lies and joining their ways in sins because of your affections of lies. You see what you're doing to the society. You see what you do to the universe when you break those ways of chains that you built up against other with the ways of your fictions, of your satisfactions of knowing your nature. So the blessings, next one up here, please. Can I have the ways of for it?
Property crimes, arson, vandalism, burglary, theft.
Okay, we have the property. We have the property here. What do you call a property crime, my friend? You know, when a man lives in their own house, I hear a lot of property crime going on here. When a man lives in their house with their wife, there's no property crime there. Even if one smashed something up and the other one smashed one up. If the only reason is if they hurt each other. That's the only effect. There's no crime in the universe of life for that. Unless you do not. If you own the property, that's different. You get away with all of that. Even if you do not own the property, you're able to fix back that property if you damage that property. And you're able to face that crime. But at the same situation, as I said, you rent a house or you have a home. There's no charge between a wife and a husband. If the husband decided to walk out, or the man decided that the woman decided to walk out and decided to say, you know what, I'm going to push this couch over. There's no charge there. There's no effections of charge there. It's a situation of arguments, of solving the issues without hitting each other and walk out. Just like what I saw the other day out there with the TV. There's no charge here, my friend. You know what a little shoe stand can only like hold like 3 shoes on it, a little plastic little thing. I bumped one of those over and got charged for that. That was wrong. And it's in my own house. In my own wife, I'm just putting on my shoes. I bump that every day, turns over every day. And I'm walking down the street, you arrested me. Property or whatever, all kind of shit. I don't know what you were getting yourself into. In the issues of life of myself, I do not understand these ways. So I'm here, I'm giving you my result. I could go right back again and charge you same one for what you just charged me for. Because you were wrong. A little shoes rack. There should be no charge in the universe of life for wife and husband in a conversation once they do not hit each other. Displacement of walk away. And that's what we saw. A placement of walk away going to work. Stop my work ethic. Lost my job because of that. Lost my job that I was in for a long period of time because of that. That was the truth. Officers of the law. So as I said before, we skip past that. We're just moving forward. As I said, these are effects in life, as I said before. These are effects in the ways of teachings. These are effects in the true path of your balance while you go there in the situations of dealing with the family situations. Yes, you may so have counseling. In the ways I said, once there is hitting and everything else, it's different affections. But when you're looking at the rape situations and all those situations of life itself and families, the cube did not see you having the right angles in the formal, properly way of dealing with the situations on the time of the manner at all times. So the affections of the life that you're facing, of the heart that you do not know and you're trying to know in the situations of facing. In details from words. In details from words of knowing the steps to make, to approach in the formal. So as I said before, once you see these situations of life facing you, you should know what rape is. You should know what assault is. It's not that hard. You should know what vandalism is. You should know what the real vandalism is in the ways of teachings here. A school property. They damage a basketball net. Next day, break the next one next day. They won't even have the audacity to replace them. They were strong enough that I could swing on them and never break them. And somebody went there and cut them down one day at a time. I went and I shoot in one. I realized it was break. I thought it would stay on that side because they cut it. I go to the next one, they go back there and cut the next one down. That is vandalism, my friend. That's big charges. That's 5 years jail time. So, as I said forth, you do not understand the principles of respecting life itself. You do not understand while you are here. You do not have the notifications of the real ways of dealing with the issues that's in front of you on the right manner. This is the first steps of the first stone. We'll be having many stages in the affections of the training of the teachings while I'm here. Thus, blessings.